Hello dear friends, Om Namah Shivaya. Today's topic I've taken is marriage and also judging the marriage from Navamsha, the study of the Navamsha. So D9 horoscope is the ultimate say for the marriage of a person. Whether when the marriage will happen, the quality of the marriage, the different nuances of the life after marriage is seen from Navamsha. See, I have studied Navamsha from various books. I can write down the names of the authors in my description. You can go through those books. It's from the books only I got these kind of ways to judge the Navamsha. Now, always when we see marriage, obviously D1 horoscope is the primary thing. We have to first delve into the D1. There is no other way. And the first thing I go is that the seventh house, the lordship, the planets placed in it, Libra sign, Venus. So these are the points that is very, very important. Firstly, in the D1. Then obviously the Lagna itself is very important. This I have always felt, because when I see a horoscope, the energy of the horoscope speaks to me in different way, because I am that kind of an astrologer. Intuitively, I am gifted by God. So I have a very strong Pisces and a Ketu in Sagittarius, and my fifth house is like that. So when I see the horoscope, I understand this person is not meant for marriage. Now, everybody is really not meant for marriage. That's the thing. When we are going for a relationship, I feel personally, maybe people can disagree from my point. That's not a problem. But whether a person is mentally prepared for marriage, this is very important. Why I'm speaking on this is that I have spent 18 years of my life in partnership, and this is the institution of marriage has taught me that how to be calm, adjusting with the situations, how to navigate the path. All these astrology will not say. This is how you choose your life. Obviously, whenever you want to make work something, sacrifice is needed, but obviously not many people will say that we tolerate. No, I'm not telling to the extent of tolerance. I'm not speaking of that. Somebody should not treat you every day with disrespect and you continue with the thing. I'm not telling that. But if genuinely there is a little bit of misunderstanding, problems, we can navigate through it. And that's the reason the Lagna is very important. The person is interested or not in navigating. That is very important. That is very, very important actually. So if a benefic is there on the Lagna, I'll jot down the points. There are a lot of points I have put in today's video. So if Lagna has some benefic, the person is more adjustable. That's why like Ketu, Mars, Rahu is Saturn, rigidity, more of rigidity with malefics. Second house is very important, I find. This is what I'm talking about D1. The first house of D1. Now I'm talking about the second house of D1. D9 I'll come later. Second house is also very important because it is your home front. It is what you speak, your wealth, your all these things. Before marriage, different thing. After marriage, also the second house is it's a home front. It's very important. Malefics here can give sudden tussles and fidgeting with words that can happen. Third house in a Lagna chart is if benefics are there, then the flexibility is very high of that person. Fourth house is obviously the Sukhasthana. It is very, very important. Fifth house is the progeny. If the marriage leads to a progeny, it is more blissful in that way. Obviously, sixth house is Rogrin and all these things. Seventh house is also very important, and it is the house of marriage and partnership. So So that itself speaks a lot about the marriage. The confirmation of it happens in the D9, and today I'll be discussing at least two horoscopes, D1 and D9, to extrapolate the case that how it shows in D1 and it confirms in D9. So that is also a fact. Then 8th house is the sexual drive, the relationships. If a person can jump into another relationship, they can go into extramarital, which is very, very common nowadays, very, very common, all these things. So like this way, D1, certain points in D1 is very important. Yeah, another point is, these point also I will discuss. Dasha is very important, whether the person is in that kind of a mental state, because when you run certain kind of a Dasha, the planets rule you and they determine mainly, though we think we are doing most of the things, and good things always people think I have done, bad things blame the planet, but it is not like that. Good or bad, our mentality is much dependent on the planet. I'm not talking about the higher level person of Rishi Munis who for whom the horoscope ceases to act, because there is no attachment for them. For simple people who are just into spiritual touch and or into midway or not at all spiritually enlightened, totally the planets have control on them. So Dasha sequence is very, very important. And marriage, whenever marriage should happen, I feel personally, as I've told just before, only I've read through all the text, Saturn and Jupiter together must bless the Lagna Lord, 7th Lord, Venus, Darakaraka, whatever, but Saturn, Jupiter together, the 7th house Drishti, that double transit of Saturn, Jupiter blessing should be there, because Guru is the blessing, Saturn is longevity. That's why Saturn gets exalted in the 7th house. So these are the main points what I will be expanding in this video. So let's see what I can give you point wise in today's marriage and Navamsha video. Let's continue. Okay, so let's start first with the D1, and if you, I'll put the points on the screen definitely, if you want to jot it down somewhere, because many people requested me that to make a video on what are the points. You know, it's very important to know a little bit of astrology yourself. Jyotish is a gyan that gives enlightenment, and we can see a little bit of what is happening in our life. So if you can jot down the points if you want to, or see your own horoscope, you can do that. So see, I've put it on the screen. Now first thing, you see the 7th house is the promise of the marriage in D1. Okay, so the promise is what? That and also the planets in the house. Whether your marriage is happening early, happening late, it is happening or not, that the 7th house is, or the sign in the 7th house is also very important. It is a fixed sign, it's a dual sign, it's a movable sign. What kind of sign? It's a soft sign like Cancer, or it's a rough sign like Capricorn. All these things will determine your marriage. Very, very important, the 7th house itself. And if there is a planet placement in the 7th house which gives the quality, or immediately as you get married, that is the feeling you get. As such, that sun, if sun is there, you feel there is some kind of an ego in the marriage. You will definitely feel that. Moon is there, the person is emotionally attached, or you are very emotionally attached to the person. There is an emotional thing, good one. Moon is little fickle, but if it's a Shukla Paksha moon and if it is a waxing moon, it is good, really good in the 7th house. But sometimes, yeah, it's fickle also. Then if it's a Ketu, what you get? It's Virakti. You are not going to get satisfaction in married life easily. 7th house Ketu. I'm not telling marriage will break. There are several of the factors, but the quality will be like that. Rahu is Asakti, too much, indulgence, and or If not that, the person can be quite, your partner can be quite, if you have a Rahu in the 7th house, can be very dominating and all this time. Venus is a good planet to have in the 7th house, though many texts say that Venus is not good, they are too much romantic, or Karaka Bhavanasha, because Libra is the original 7th house. But still, I have seen Venus works good. If Jupiter is good and the person has a sensibility to continuation of a long marriage, it works good. Mercury is also good because it's a business planet. It knows how to negotiate things. Mercury is also good. Maybe a little bit promiscuous, but not to that devilish extent. It's good nonetheless. So Mars. Now Mars is not wanted here. If there's an exalted Mars also, I'll show you a horoscope today only. Mars is not at all wanted. It's commander in chief. What the person has to do with marriage? No, marriage is negotiation. It's the Libra house. Now after seeing the 7th house, you see the sign of Libra in your D1 horoscope. That is also very important. Sign of Libra will give you the quality of your marriage. If any planet is placed in it, look at that. If a planet is placed, you will definitely get the quality of your marriage in the, that is how your marriage will run. If suppose Venus Ketu, this also I'll show a chart that I came across these horoscopes and I came to understand that after 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years of marriage also, people are feeling they're not attached, they want to get separated. Why? Because other factors were not that bad, it was good, the marriage is running for 20, 21 years, but because Ketu is there in Libra, ultimately they are having a feeling of detachment, bitterness, virakti. Virakti is the right word, and only Ketu can take you, because it is intended such that if Ketu is in the sign of Libra, in whatever stage of marriage you are, it will take you to that renunciation state. Spirituality will come through marriage. Loneliness and this kind of jagran, the epiphany of some kind of a spiritual epiphany will come through marriage. That will happen. So Venus Ketu, I don't like. As simple as that. I don't like this combination of Venus Ketu together or Libra Ketu. So that is very important. Now, after seeing the sign of Libra in D1, all these are D1 which I'm talking about, and also you must see the planet Venus, where it is placed. Is it afflicted? It is in a good situation, aspected by Jupiter. If see, Venus Jupiter gives some differences in the viewpoint, but still the marriage runs whatsoever it runs, it is a good sign in the horoscope. If we find Venus aspecting, Jupiter aspecting Venus with the 5th aspect, 9th aspect, 7th aspect, whatever, usually in the D1 horoscope, when we see this, the marriage runs good. Then the second point we come is that the second point that you check in the D1 is that as I told, the Venus and the sign of Libra. And the third point, how is the 7th lord, that is the 7th lord, the placement of the 7th lord is how your marriage is, the maintenance of your marriage and the longevity of your marriage. This is very, very important. If 7th lord is sitting in 6, 12, 8th from itself, it is not a very good condition. Understand that. Or if it is sitting in your horoscope's Dusthana, 6, 7, 8 from itself, when it is sitting, it is in the 6th house is the 12th house, 8th house is the 2nd house, and 6th house is the 12th house from the 7th house. And from your Lagna also, if the 7th lord is sitting in the 6th, 7th, 6th, 8th and 12th, especially 12th, if the 7th lord has gone retrograde in the 12th house or something like that, if D9 also find the same condition, then the longevity of the marriage, the quality of the marriage, because that is the maintenance. 7th lord is it is the sustainability of the marriage. How long once marriage happens, 7th house is good, suppose it has a Venus and all, okay fine, you get married early or in a normal age or 36, whatever, you get married from 25 to 36 anytime. But whether you are able to go along with the marriage is running for, or it's maintained in a good way, that is the 7th lord. The quality of the marriage, again see, if the 7th lord is well placed, but again Libra is having Ketu or Venus is with Ketu, again the quality of the marriage may not be good, but the longevity is there. You get my point, what I'm trying to say. Seventh house is whether you will get married or not. Seventh lord is how long it will run. And Libra and Venus will show the quality of the marriage. So these three things you have to put together. Then you understand marriage. This is just, I'm talking about the D1 horoscope. Same thing, these 3 points you can see in the D9. But I have added certain important points for the D9. Now see, in D9 horoscope, now I'm coming to the Navamsha. Navamsha D9, first and foremost, the Lagna is very, very important. Now again, I'll put up some 12 points. You go through the points, you see and you check your Navamsha, how to do it. It's not a very tough method. More or less, you'll be able to navigate through your Navamsha after going through these points, I feel so. First, see the Lagna of the Navamsha. The Lagna of the Navamsha is very, very, very important, because there, if the sign is good, suppose a good sign like Venusian sign, Libra, Taurus, softer sign, Cancer, grandeur sign, Leo is there. We don't want a Scorpio, Capricorn in the Navamsha Lagna. We don't want Aries. Aries is very fast, everything fast happening. So we don't want, a marriage is a slow process. It takes time to build up, it takes time for the continuity. The sign is important on the Lagna. Now, what kind of planet is sitting on the Lagna, that is also very important, because the kind of sign and the planet will determine how you are taking marriage as your life. That is very important. A malefic like, suppose Mars Ketu sitting on the Lagna, suppose Mars is there on the Lagna of the D9, it's not a good sign. The person can run into conflicts very, very easily, very easily. Rahu is sitting, it is a asakti kind of thing. It's a madness, you know, Rahu gives a madness for things. Ketu, again, it's detachment and all. Sun can give ego issues. Sun is a dry planet. Sun is not malefic, but still it is dry. After some time, the marriage can feel quite dried up and not up to the, you know, the kind of level it should have. So these are the things. So first house of the Navamsha is very, very important. Now second house of the Navamsha. The second house is very important. Why? Because it is the wealth and the speech of the marriage. You will see if there is a malefic planet in the second house of your Navamsha, then you will see that if there is a quarrel, the bad words are thrown at each other. The wealth part can be good, because evil planets, they give good wealth, malefics, but the speech part is not good at that point of time. So what you say, that gives a lasting effect on the other person. That is the second house of your Navamsha. That's why the second house in the D1 is also very important. If malefics are there, then the words used, the kind of, you know, things, it's not good for the well-being of the marriage. Now the third house. Third house is what kind of efforts you're putting. Any kind of benefic, as I said, in the third house of the D1 also is very adjustable. Benefics easily the marriage runs. You don't have to put in much effort. You don't have to think, because you yourself is a very flexible person. I've seen that again and again. Suppose Jupiter in the third, not a very good position, but as far as marriage is concerned, Jupiter in the third is not bad, because Jupiter is the guru. They know how to let it go. Jupiter in the third house, people are very flexible. If you tell them, no, you not in this way, you do it in this way, they'll, okay, fine, I'll do it in that way. So they have a flexible mind. You keep Mars in the third house, they'll fight for, no, I want that in this way only, this way, like that. So that is the difference. So, and Jupiter, when it is in the third, 7th or 11th, what in D1 or D9 is that it aspects the 7th house, 11th house. This is very good for the position. Now the fourth house. Fourth house of marriage is very, very extremely important, because that is your Suksthan. When you return home, you are staying in a home, that's your home life after marriage. And any kind of malefics again over here can give a very rough-shod attitude. Suppose you have Mangal in the fourth house, you come and fight, bitter quarreling happens at home. It's like fire, not wanted. The marriage doesn't give satisfaction. See, everything is is not physical about the marriage. There is, as we grow older, when you are just 1-2 years into the marriage, you don't realize what a marriage is. I'm telling this because I said beginning only, I have been in this institution for very long now, and it's been a very nice gliding process. Obviously there is ups and downs, but that is how the strength becomes more. And this fourth house, suppose it is having a planet like Moon, like Venus, like Mercury, it is extremely good. The quality of the home life, that is the thing. Two people staying together in the same, under the roof, that the quality of the marriage is so beautiful when you get softer planets in the 7th house. Aspects also, suppose every house will not have an aspect, so you have to judge it with the aspect of a malefic. One malefic aspecting, suppose 4th house has no planets in the D9, but one malefic is aspecting, okay, a little bit it's okay. 2 aspecting, it is a little more intense, you understand. 3 gone, that house is of extreme, again, volatility, like that. Now 5th house is the intelligence of the marriage, how you deal with things in the marriage. You know, I have seen this so many times with so many couple. With intelligence, they have you know, sorted out the things and made the things work in a better way. That is the intelligence of the marriage, which is very, very important. If the marriage works in an intelligent way, you have to, a marriage will not work by itself. You have to put in your intelligence. Anything, whether it's your office, whether dealing your children, whether your studies, your home, whatever it is, it does not work like just like that. You have to put in your intelligence into it. A benefic can well balance the situation. One malefic, one benefic is also okay. I have seen that in horoscopes. One malefic, one benefic. Okay, it adjusts. Maybe sometimes it will be a little spark, sudden spark. Suppose Saturn Mars is there in the 5th house. So what you can expect? The intelligence suddenly go like an electric spark, but again it calms down and it settles, because Shani Mangal is that kind. It usually is not a very, I don't find personally, I have seen Saturn Mars is not a very bad combination, bad, quote unquote bad, that it destroys everything. Because Saturn gives that patience to Mars. It holds on to Mars. That is the thing. It gives an irritation because Mars wants to do it fast. Saturn wants to make it slow, but still it's better than many other volatile like Rahu Mangal combination. Okay, now 6th house. 6th house is the conflicts of the marriage. So if you have a Jupiter in the 6th house, which is not good for the Jupiter, but as far as the marriage is concerned, it's okay. You deal with conflicts, you deal with like an aged person, you forget, forgiven, running, marriage is running. But if the 7th Lord is in the 6th house, I don't feel it's a very good combination in D9 or D1 both. Not that it will go into a divorce. Don't, whenever I say it's not a good combination, don't think that every not good combination will go into a divorce and separation. No. But you know what? I have seen this, that divorce and separation is ending and you deal with that process for 1-2 years, you're done. But as I'm saying, that 7th Lord in the 6th house, whether in D9 or D1, and have studied in books also, it keeps the marriage going with lot of quarrels, lot of fidgeting. You know, it's a everyday bad taste that you get. I think getting out of a marriage is better than remaining in it and everyday getting such a taste. But if the Lagna of the D9 horoscope is strong, and if Jupiter Venus is strong and 7th Lord is weak in the 7, 8, 12 house or whatever, the marriage will not break easily. It will not break, rather. If you keep on fidgeting, it's a bitter marriage, you know, but some of the other situation will be like that, you will hold on to it. That kind of a thing. Now the 7th house of D9, which is all about your marriage partner quality. Over here, if you have 2 malefics, it's not at all wanted. I'm sorry to say, but that is how it is. If you have benefics, if you have Sun, suppose, as I said in D1 also, but it's a confirmation in the D9, right? So if you have Sun, you know that the bed life or after some days the sex life will not be very interesting. It dries up. Sun is a dry planet. Saturn is like, it will hold you to the marriage. Either Saturn, 2 cases. Either you get into a marriage, you understand it's not working, you split. it. But the second, because Saturn 7th is a very digbali Saturn, no, so it usually gives a second marriage also if you run away from the first one. And the second is like, you know, it ties you up to the marriage, and you feel sometimes suffocated, because Saturn is, you know, patience, it's pain, it's grinding you. That's why I think, because Saturn inculcates so much patience, that's why it get digbali in the 7th house. Because in the 7th house of Libra, there is only negotiation, there is no winning. There is, you can win a fight, but it hardly matters whether if you win also. Suppose you and your partner fight and you win it doesn't give any good vibe to the marriage, right? Because somebody is losing. But here it's a negotiation, business. Libra is business. That's why this Swati nakshatra works in the full stretch in Libra. Mercury works it works very well in Libra. Venus, though, obviously it's a own sign. Even Rahu also works. It becomes diplomatic in Libra. And so Rahu alone in the 7th house of D9 or D1 may not give a divorce. It usually 60%, 70% cases it will not give, unless it has some other aspects of Saturn, Mars, or the Dasha is very bad, or the other party, the second, because it's a marriages of 2 horoscope, right? The other horoscope is very bad. The 7th house is a very important house. It is the quality of your partner, what kind of partner you are headed towards. Very, very, very important. 8th house is the sexual desires, and also your the life after marriage, the pleasures after marriage, and also your what can I say, the longevity of the marriage. That is also the 8th house. The longevity, how it is, the 8th lord, that's why 8th lord coming into the 7th house is not wanted, because it can suddenly break the marriage. Or 8th lord sitting on the Navamsha Lagna can suddenly break the marriage. These things, 8th lord is a longevity. A malefic 8th lord will do bad. A benefic 8th lord, if it is good also, suppose you have a Taurus in the 8th house, Libra ascendant. So Venus usually, it can give some distance due to different reason, but whatever, but it will not break the marriage. It's not. Or suppose you have Jupiter as the 8th lord, it may break if other conditions are very bad. But if suppose Jupiter is sitting in the 7th house, it will not usually break it. Some transformation can happen in the marriage. 9th house of the Navamsha is very, very important. It's the bhagya of the Navamsha. Very, very, very important 9th house, and the trust building factor between two partners. If the 9th house in the D9 is good, your bhagya rises after your marriage. And the trust that you have in your partner, how much you trust. Malefics will not give trust. Mars, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu will not give trust. A waning moon will not give trust, because moon is also waxing waning. Mercury also not too much. It's promiscuous, right? It's a child. Mercury is a child. Jupiter is really good. Aspect of Jupiter is good. Venus also in certain conditions, diplomatically it is very good. Sun, I think it works well in the 9th house. So that is the bhagya of the marriage and the trust of the marriage. Very important. 10th house is your responsibilities. How you carry out your responsibilities in the marriage. Whether you willingly do it, or you are just being pushed into the affair because of peer pressure, your parents or whoever, or you yourself might have taken the decision, I have to get married, and now the responsibility is bogging you, paining you. That is your 10th house of the Navamsha. 11th house of the Navamsha is your desires. Ultimately, what is the thing that you are looking in the marriage, and what is your desire from the marriage? It is a Upachya house, but here too many malefics, or one malefic is adjustable, it has desires. Suppose 2 malefics are there, Rahu Mars again, Saturn Mars, then Rahu Saturn, too much of desire from the marriage. The other partner gets frustrated fulfilling the desires of the person who is having these combination in the 11th house, and that person is never satisfied from the marriage, because the desires are so high, it is unsatiable. So insatiable, so you cannot, that's why this 11th house is also quite an important house. Now 12th house is the bed pleasures of the marriage and all your activity behind the closed door and all these things. Here again, very bad malefics can give into fighting at it is bad actually. There should be a good benefic over here. Then it is cool, calm, better in the 12th house. So this is how I have seen the 12 houses working. Now what I will do is that I will talk about 3 horoscopes, at least 2 I'll put, the D1 and then how it shows in the D9. So let's see that how it horoscope of Libra Lagna for you. Now see the horoscope, you will see that though it's the Lagna is Libra, obviously the person will have, and moon is in the 7th house. So the person obviously will have curiosity or mind is fixated on partnership, because Libra is about relationship, partnership, and moon is there in Aries in the 7th house. Now here the first house is sorted, that we understand that marriage is there and will happen. Now then see the second house, no planet is there. Mars, the second lord, is in the 10th house. It's okay. Second house, it's okay, good. Artha Trikon, it's okay. Money wise, it will be okay. Now the third house is, see, Jupiter. Jupiter is in Sagittarius. Now the thing is that here the person will be quite flexible, but Sagittarius is a Agni Tattva Rashi. So certain things they will take a stand and they will not go away from it. They will stand by that. That is also very important in such cases. Now the fourth house is having an aspect of exalted aspect of Mars. So obviously we can understand some kind of conflicts is there, but this, because it's an exalted aspect, it's okay. But Rahu is also aspecting that 4th house. So you can see already 2 malefics are aspecting the 4th house. And the 4th lord, Saturn, is with Ketu in the 6th house. This is not a very good sign. Now the 4th house comes under tremendous affliction. You got my point. The 4th lord is in the 6th with Ketu. 4th house getting aspected by Mars and Rahu. So some kind of bitterness in the home front remains. Dissatisfaction remains. 5th house lord is also conjunct with Ketu. So progeny related matters may go for a delay, that we can see. Some kind of different process can be inculcated in this. Now the 6th lord has gotten a 3rd house. It's okay. The 7th lord is Mars. And 7th we have a placement of moon. Now what is meant by this is that 7th lord Mars in the 10th house has got into debilitation. Now this partner, the partner that this person is going to have will be rough, no doubt about that, because any Ugra planet and going into the 10th house will have a rough partner, no second doubt on it. But this person will be emotionally attached to the marriage. Now because it's a 10th house Mars, though in its debilitation, it is still okay because it have exchanged sign. Mars has gone into Moon's house, Moon has come into Mars's house. So it's okay. And Mars in the 10th house can, 10th is a Digbala Mars. It's a position that Mars wants. Debilitated means everything they have to do on their career, they and their partner on their own. The partner has to come from the scratch, the career oriented, but will not get much help from anybody. Such kind of a case. The 8th lord Venus has gone with Mercury in the 11th house. This is also not a bad condition. Only thing is that I find Venus Mercury not doing very good in Leo. 11th house is good, but Leo, again I said, it's a very It's a very royal and very Agni Tattva sign, no? So softer planets like Venus and Mercury, they lose their quality, I feel, in that heat of the sun. Here I feel sun itself, Mars, Saturn, they work well. Rahu gives a lot of grandeur also. But nonetheless, it's not a bad position. The ninth lord is in the 11th, is also good, not bad. And see, this is then the 10th lord, as I said, is came to the 7th house. Some kind of partnership with the partner can also happen in the later time. They can go for any kind of, you know, business related partnership with the partner. 11th house is good. Again, the 12th house has sun, Rahu. So it is not a very good 12th house. Some restlessness inside the person is observed. The sleep disturbances can also happen. Now come to the Navamsha of this horoscope. The Navamsha of this horoscope, you see, is having a Scorpio Lagna. As I said, in the Navamsha, we do not want a Scorpio Lagna because Scorpio is a too much intense Rashi and some kind of transformation, Ketu and Mercury being there. Mercury is a soft planet, it's a good planet, but Ketu is quite a rough planet, and in Scorpio, it will definitely give a quite a transformation. So after marriage, transformation becomes a must. That is seen from the horoscope. Now, what kind of transformation? Now, you see the second house. Second house has Mars in Sagittarius. Speech-related issues will be there. Agni Tattva Rashi with Mars, standing for the point. Bitterness in bitter truth can also be said, because that is how it will generate. The planets will generate that kind of a result. Now, see, you come to the 7th house. If 4th house is also very important in the marriage. See, Jupiter has an aspect on the 4th house, so I think no other malefics are having aspect on the 4th house. It's not bad, it's okay. The 5th house, again, see the intelligence of the marriage. Mars is aspecting and Saturn is also aspecting in the Pisces sign, watery sign of Pisces. I don't find Mars Saturn aspecting Pisces a very good combination. It takes you into an emotional turmoil and irritation, anger, and all these things. Now here, the 7th house, the 7th lord has come into the 6th house, and 7th house has Sun and Rahu. This combination, do you feel anyway it is good in the 7th house of Navamsha? Certain things are quite evident. It is not a good, and the 7th lord has gone into the 6th house. So this is not a good condition for the 7th house. Though you see the efforts in the marriage, if you look into the 10th house, the responsibilities of the marriage, Jupiter in Leo, will be carried out, because Leo is a responsible sign. Jupiter there will carry out the responsibility. Desires, 11th house desires are good. Saturn in Virgo is working hard and getting the things done. That is also good. Moon is in Libra in the 12th house. So some kind of satisfaction, some kind of nice feeling, though that is, that's, I said, the Libra sign. The relationship here, the thing about this whole Navamsha, what it is telling is that Libra sign, Venus, Moon is aspecting each other. Again, you see. So here, the romantic thing, the theme of the marriage can at times be there, at times be missing, but the spouse, the 7th house is all about your spouse, and the character of the spouse is very, very dominating. That is seen from here. Rahu Sun, it is like the Rahu in Leo. If you have a 7th house Rahu in Leo, jokingly, but you must have seen in Amitabh Bachchan's horoscope, the 7th house has Leo, Rahu in Leo, and you can see his spouse. So I need not tell it in details. His spouse things are all over there in YouTube and everywhere. So Amitabh Bachchan has this combination. He is Aquarius Lagna, and the 7th house is Leo, which gave him a great position in the D1. But Rahu being in Leo, his wife, as you can see, and Venus is also in Neecha in the 8th house. So the spouse will be dominating over here. Now, whether the question comes, so the person gets married, whether the marriage will be long running. You will see after marriage a transformation is definitely going to happen, but will the marriage long run? That is the main question. This person is running a Mangal Mahadasha now. Then that person will come after 4-5 years, the person will come into Rahu Mahadasha. So, in this Rahu Mahadasha, Rahu being with Sun in the 7th house, suppose a gochar of Saturn or some things happen over, when it will happen, Rahu, Saturn and all these things, and the gochar is such, there the marriage will be shaking up from the core, because it will give certain huge transformations which is very difficult to sustain with. Now, whether it happens or not at that time, gochar, the Dasha, Antardasha, Pratyantardasha will determine, obviously. So that is how we see a marriage horoscope running from the D1 and to the D9. Now let me take another horoscope. So this horoscope is having a Cancer Lagna, and Ketu is there on the Lagna with 7th house having Rahu Mangal. Mars is retrograde and exalted. And so see, first and foremost, the Cancer Lagna having Ketu on the Lagna. So here you see what is that Cancer is a watery emotional sign. When Ketu is sitting in Cancer, some kind of emotional deficiency about that person is noticed. The person is not very emotionally attached to anything and a little segregated, little personality subdued. Second house is very bright. You see, Leo has so many planets, Mercury, Sun, Venus, Moon. He's very knowledgeable. And I know these people personally, right? So he's very knowledgeable person, lot of reading, but to say that knowledge, the outward spoken thing about the knowledge is not there, and it's very subdued kind of a person. And the partner, the 7th house, you see Rahu Mars is very, very opposite. It is Angarak Yoga in the 7th house. Let Mars be exalted, doesn't matter. Mars does not work well in the 7th house. Suppose if you tell me, now many people will tell me aspect of Jupiter. Okay, I don't what I have seen is that Mars is the commander. With the aspect of Jupiter, little it can come down, but Mars being the commander, it will always try to take all the decisions of the marriage by themselves. That is a big problem. They don't consider you. The person's wife does not take him into consideration in any decisions, and that's why the marriage is just a running show. Long years of marriage, it's running. It's still running, but that is the condition of the marriage. So that is how marriage is seen. Now see here also, here you see the Saturn Jupiter aspects each other. So this is also a good case of whenever Saturn Jupiter aspects. Now where is the Libra? Now Libra is, see, the 4th house. Now Libra Venus has gone into the 2nd house. Now Venus is again in Leo. Leo Venus, as I told you, conjunct with Sun, which is also given, also it's combust because it's very close to the Sun. I find Sun is I think 5 degrees and Venus is 4 degrees. So what is left in that Venus, you tell me. Now that is how we see when Libra, no, nothing is there. I told a planet is not there. You check Venus. Venus is combust with Sun. The watery element of the planet, the emotional quotient of the planet is just not there. It's just not there. So the condition of the marriage is not good. We understand from the D1. Now you see the D9. Now D9 is a Pisces Lagna. Okay, now Pisces Lagna is not bad. Now where is this Lagna Lord? Jupiter. It is in the 6th house. I said that a benefic in the 6th house, if it is there, it will deal with the conflicts of the marriage. 2nd house Saturn, where Nicha. When words are thrown at each other, money can be good, but when words are thrown at each other, it's a problematic thing. Okay, now the 3rd house, Sun, Venus is not bad. Venus in own house, okay, the flexibility of marriage, adjustability is there, but ego is also there, stubbornness is also there. The 4th house is having this 4th house Lord is Mercury and aspected by Moon. Now, and also aspected by Saturn. Now, Saturn, Moon both are aspecting this 4th house. You know, it's dry. there is no mental match in the house. One, Saturn is a very rough planet. It's a, it's a planet of suffering. Moon is it's a queen like planet. No mental match. And the fourth lord, Mercury, see, is in the fifth house with Rahu, Mars. Mercury is there in Jalatattva. Now you see, Rahu, Mars in Cancer with Mercury. You can understand what kind of a combination this is. Like two fireballs, the smoke is always happening. The intelligence of the marriage is not, the intelligence is not working here. Because Mercury, we all know, it gets debilitated in Pisces, and other Jalatattva and Scorpio and Cancer also, Mercury is not very good. The intelligent Mercury does not show a very intelligence, get up over here, with Rahu Mars adding the fire to the fuel. Now, the seventh house lord is again Mercury. So see, the fourth and the seventh house lord has gone into doldrums actually. It's decimated, you can say. Rahu, Mercury can be a trickster also. They can play well. But the thing is that Mars is not a trickster. It is a gunshot commander. So here, if you play a trick also, it will not work for long. It will come out in the open. So this combination is nowhere working good for the marriage. And that is why you see, the responsibility of the marriage, the 10th house, may be carried out, but the 11th house, the desires, Ketu in Capricorn, the desires are just not there. And when the desire is only not there, nothing you want from that marriage, it is just carrying on. And exactly this is what this person told me. It's just we're running the show. That's the thing. So because see, 12th lord, the bed scene, behind the scene, then 12th house should be a nice house. Saturn is in its debilitation in the second house. So that is how, see, whenever you see a horoscope, you go into depths of it. Here nakshatra comes, lot of things. Dashas play a very important. Another thing is that this person has been running a Jupiter Mahadasha. For now, he's towards the end of Jupiter Mahadasha, 1 or 2 years left. Last 14 years, he had been running a Jupiter Mahadasha. Before that, he had been running a Rahu Mahadasha. Intense desires, Rahu in the 7th house. So now he is coming into the Saturn Mahadasha slowly and surely within 1-2 years. So Saturn also, the way Saturn is placed in the D1, because it is the 7th lord in the 11th house, I don't feel it will break the marriage. I don't feel. Yeah, it is situated in the house of Venus in the D1. First we have to check the D1. Venus is combust. The person can say in a separative way, but immediately there will be a divorce and person can totally go for a written divorce. I don't think that kind of combination will happen in this horoscope. I don't feel that. But the thing is that, as we know, Saturn is a very, very tough planet. It's a planet. Jupiter had been a glue. Jupiter is a glue in the marriage, right? But Saturn is not like that. But because Jupiter in the D1 is aspecting Saturn, the 7th lord, the breaking of the marriage, I do not think will happen. That's the thing. So this is what this is a rough idea how we can deal the dasha sequence is also very, very important to see a marriage, how the marriage is progressing, where it is going. Very important, the dasha sequence. And also first studying the D1, then studying the D9, and then coming into conclusion. I can see these are the few books that I have in front of me. One is R.K. Das I have read, and Divisional Charts by V.P. Goel. This is very good. And I have 2 volumes of Vishnu Vaskar. This volume 1 also have different kinds of, Navamsha techniques given in it. So, and another 2-3 books I have. These books, they gave me an idea how to see the Navamsha, and when I am seeing horoscopes every day, I find these techniques are working very well actually. They are working. They are quite proven techniques, and obviously in the text, in the classical text like BPHS and the Faladipika and Sarvat Chintamani, all these things, many things are given to, we have to decode them, we have to put them into perspective. But these kind of books, they are easy and they give you handy and how to, you know, deep delve into the right way to see the Navamsha or other divisional charts. So hope, I feel that you get some idea about what I'm trying to put in for today's video. But after a long time, I'm making a marriage and Navamsha video. Many people requested for it, as I make less of videos regarding marriage. So next video will be very shortly coming. Till then, take good care. Have a good day, friends. Bye.